In this lecture we talk about the story and the title of the great poem The Knight in the Panther's Skin. So we start with the story. In a nutshell, the story of the great poem The Knight in the Panther's Skin is about the adventures of two knights, Tariel and Oftandil. Tariel is the protagonist of the poem, is the knight that wears the panther skin, and Oftandil is the chief of staff of the Arab armies. So in the next step I will talk about the story in detail. Actually, the story of the red poem, The Knight in the Panther's Skin, can be divided into two parts. The first part is the search for Tariel, the protagonist of the poem, and the second part is the search for Tariel's beloved, Nestan Darajan. So we start with the first part, the search for Tariel. The first part of the red poem, The Knight in the Panther's Skin, is as follows. One day, King Osman, that is the king of who is the king of Arabia, goes to an hunting competition with Oftandil. Oftandil is the chief of staff of King Osman's armies. During the competition, they take a break and they rest under a tree. And all of a sudden, they see a mysterious knight crying by a river. So King Osman wanted very much to know who is that mysterious knight. Therefore, he sent slaves in order to contact the mysterious knight. But the mysterious knight reacts violently and kills all the slaves that sent by King Osman in order to contact him, and then disappears. Tinatin is the only daughter of King Osman, and she loves Oftandil. Oftandil also loves Tinatin. So Tinatin asks for her beloved Oftandil to find the mysterious knight in 3 years, and in return she promises to marry him. She promises to marry him in return. So Oftandil searches the mysterious knight all over the world, and after 2 years and 9 months, he finds the mysterious knight. The mysterious knight tells him that his name is Tariel, and that he was the commander of India's fleet. He also loves Nestan Darajan, who is the daughter of King Osman, who is the daughter of King Panther'S. King Panther'S is the king of India. But the problem is that his beloved Nestan Darajan was abducted, and from that point he sank into deep depression. He was always crying and sobbing, and he was secluded to a cave with only one maiden beside him. The maiden helped Tariel to cope with the tragedy that he underwent. So he became totally insane because of the abduction of his beloved Nestan Darajan. So Oftandil was very moved by the story of the mysterious knight Tariel, and therefore he becomes the friend of Tariel, and he also promises Tariel to help him to find his beloved Nestan Darajan. So this is the first part of the story, that is the search for Tariel. The second part of the story is the search for Tariel's beloved Nestan Darajan. So in the second part, Oftandil, who is the king, who is the chief of staff of Osman armies, goes to search the Nestan Darajan, and after a lot of searching and investigations about her, he finds out that Nestan Darajan, Tariel's beloved, was abducted by the Kajis. The Kajis are demons. Therefore, Oftandil, Tariel, and Pridon, who is the ruler of the city Mungazazar, together with 300 soldiers, go to the country of the Kajis in order to rescue Nestan Darajan, Tariel's beloved, from her captivity. But the problem is that the country of the Kajis is a fortress, and it is actually impossible to infiltrate to that fortress. And the second problem is the Kajis are very strong warriors. So the mission to rescue the Nestan from captivity by the Kajis is an impossible mission. But against all the odds, the 300 soldiers, together with Tariel, Aptandil, and Pridon, did the unthinkable. That is to say, they succeeded to rescue Nestan Darajan, Tariel's beloved, from her captivity by the Kajis. And the story has an happy ending, in the sense that Aptandil marries Tintin, and Tariel, the protagonist of the poem, marries his beloved Nestan Darajan. So that is the story of the great poem, The Knight in the Panther's Skin. In the next step, I talk about the title of the great poem. Actually, it is not clear if the animal in the poem is a panther or a tiger. Therefore, we'll assume that the animal is a tiger, and therefore the title of the poem is The Knight in the Tiger's Skin. The knight, Tariel, who is the protagonist of the poem, that wears the tiger's skin. Actually, there is a particular chapter in the poem that talks about the Tariel that killed a lion and the tiger. And the story of that particular chapter is as follows. One day, Tariel sees a lion that was chasing after a tiger. So Tariel thought that the lion was going to kill the tiger, and therefore he kills the lion in order to save the tiger from the hands of the lion. And then he goes to the tiger in order to hug her, but the tiger is very angry on Tariel because of the fact that the lion and the tiger were not fighting, they were just playing a game. Therefore the tiger starts to eat Tariel very strongly with his paws, so Tariel could bear no more the blows of the tiger, and therefore he eats back, and in one blow he kills the tiger. So it's actually a very tragic story because of the fact that Tariel risked his life in order to save the tiger from the hands of the lion. But at the end of the story, he was the one that killed the tiger. Therefore, Tariel is very angry on himself, and he decides to wear the tiger's skin. So there are two reasons that Tariel wears the tiger's skin. The first reason is because of the fact that the tiger's skins reminds him the fact that he killed the tiger that he loved so much, and the second reason is because of the fact that the tiger's skins reminds him his beloved Nestan Darajan that was abducted twice. Why? It reminds him of Nestan Darajan because of the fact that the face of the tiger was very similar to the face of his beloved Nestan Darajan that was abducted twice. Repeat again, there are two reasons that Tariel wears the tiger's skin. The first reason is because of the fact the tiger's skin is a reminder for him that he killed the tiger that he loved so much, and the second reason is because of the fact that the tiger's skin also reminds him his beloved Nestan Darajan that was abducted twice. We know that the tiger's figure is a very important figure in the poem. Why? Because of the fact that the name of the poem is The Knight in the Tiger's Skin. The knight is Tariel, the protagonist of the poem, that wears the tiger's skin. But the question is why the tiger's figure is a very important figure in the poem. The answer is, as I already mentioned before, because of the fact that the tiger's skin, the tiger's face was very similar to Tariel's beloved face, Nestan Darajan. Okay, thank you very much.